This is Rasmi Didi. Namaste. Welcome.
Namaste, Bhaiya.
How are you?
Yeah, Bhaiya, doing good.
Ji. Maybe you can share the slide from your side and we may start in a couple of minutes perhaps. Ji.
Okay, Bhaiya, okay.
Over to you.
Yes, Bhaiya.
Ji, Didi, your voice is clear and slide is also visible. Nice.
Fine, Bhaiya, fine. So I will start in a couple of minutes.
Yes. Let's a couple of people more join. Ji.
Yes. Yeah, okay. Bhaiya, shall I start? Okay. So,
Yes, Didi, you may start.
yeah.
Welcome. Ji.
Yeah. So, very good evening to everyone present here. I welcome you to this session. So, today we'll be looking into the session 5 of UHV 1. And before going on to that, let us just have a very short recap of what are the assignments that has been given in the last session. Like in the last session, session 4 of UHV1, we discussed about the programs to fulfill the basic human aspiration, that is shifting from excitement to happiness. So these are some of the assignments, and I hope these assignments would have been very interesting to work on, where we looked into the programs that make us happy. And we also would be trying to understand whether this program is definite, continuous. Basically, am I getting this continuity of happiness or not? And the second one is like the fluctuation of the feelings. That is, how far I am able to be in a very high feeling, high mood, and a feeling of uh, feeling very low, which means the depression. And how is this happening? What are the reasons behind these fluctuations? And if you are able to see that, you would have done or you would have got some very interesting conclusions from this exercise. And this is what we discussed. And the another thing which we try to go on with is to list the aspirations and concern. So we know that when we are going to uh, live, like I will be having this aspiration and concern at the level of my own self, that is at the level of an individual. That is like I aspire to have a happy life, to be healthy. And then it may go up to the second level of family, where I have some of my close relatives with whom I share everything, starting from my home. And generally, I tend to share my feelings towards them also. So that is the next level. And going on further is the level of society, and then finally the nature. So this is what we said at the last, like in the next session, we'll be able to discuss about the aspirations and concern starting at my level, at the level of an individual. So now the today's session, fulfillment of aspirations at the individual level, distinguishing between the needs of the self and body. So when we say about this fulfillment of aspiration at the level of an individual, this is basically as we will be checking out how to identify the needs how to identify the needs and how to differentiate these needs on the basis of the self and body. So each one of us, we can tell ourselves as an individual human being. Each one of us will be having aspirations for us. Each one of us will be having concerns. The concerns may be towards the family, society, or even myself. The concerns may be towards the nature, which is what we have done in the previous session as the home assignment. So this basically means that we do have our own problems and also we do have our own aspirations. So when I have these aspirations for myself or problems for myself, then it's me who is concerned about it. It's me who is going to take effort to find out the solution for the concerns. It's me who is going to take the efforts to fulfill my aspirations. So when I talk about me, then it becomes important for every one of us to understand myself first. So what does this myself means? When I try to understand myself, it basically means that I'm going to understand about the human being. So I try to understand about me, which is in general the human being. So then that will be giving us a way to understand the others. So when I understand me, the others, the human being, then it will be very easy for us to have the clarity on finding out the definite program to fulfill our needs. So now we will get this question, we will have this question. Is human being merely the body or something more than that? What do you think? Am I merely the body? See, often what happens when we start from our home to anywhere, like even now, after getting up in the morning, we will be having this habit of looking ourselves at the mirror. We want to look at ourselves. And when we stand in front of the mirror, we see the image of the body. But when I say I'm an individual, that is, I'm a human being, do I mean to say that I'm just the body? Or am I able to see there is something more than the body and which needs to be explored? So let us try to understand this. Let us try to find out who I am. Do I have something else more than this body in me? And this can be easily done with the direct observation of us. I am a human being. So the proposal goes on in this way. There is a body and there is something else too, which we call as the self, the I. So the proposal is human being is the coexistence of two realities, the body and the self. Am I able to see this? I stand in front of the mirror and I look at my body. So maybe we can go in detail of analyzing these things like who needs food? Let us think over this. Who needs the food? Who has craving for particular type of food? Or who makes the selection of eating the food? What type of food I prefer to have now? Or what type of restaurant I would like to go now to take the food? Who is making this decision? Then maybe we can take this also. Who needs respect? I hope every one of us would like to have respect. Every one of us want to be respected. But when I say I need respect, then who is that? I. So we often tend to get the clothes which makes up the trend. Like we go on with some trendy clothes. I mean, um, based on the season and rather based on the current trends in the society, we look into the clothes. Like when I'm going to college, then I should be having this trendy clothes that suits. Like I'm able to uh, make similar kind of trendy clothes with my friends and other things. So we go on with that. And who needs these trendy clothes? Similarly, at times we may feel happy, or at times we may feel sad, we may feel very confident, we may feel depressed, or it happens, right? It's not that I'm able to stick on with a particular type of feeling for an entire day. Like my feelings get changes, it generally changes. And who feels all this? Who is the one who is feeling all this kind of, like as we discussed in the last session, like I'm feeling very high at times,
Recording in progress.
I'm feeling very low at times, and who is that who is feeling all this kind? Are we able to see that, like I, the human being, is a coexistence of two realities where I term those realities as the self and body? Maybe we can just try to understand these two realities based on certain parameters. Like we will just start to discuss about the need. Like we may list down some of our needs. So for example, as a student, like what does a student need? Generally, a student needs to have these kind of trendy clothes, shoes, the electronic gadgets, and money. Then every student would like to have this respect, the name, the identity, the happiness. So these are some of the needs that we can list down in an everyday to day life of us. And when we look into these two type of needs, are we able to see that these needs can be categorized into two different types? The one type of need is something physical. Whatever we have listed, like the clothes, the shoes, the electronic gadgets, money. So all those things will be coming into the category of physical facility. And the next type of need, what we said as the respect, happiness, all those things will be coming into this category of feelings. Are we able to see that? Are we able to see to it that we have two different types of needs? Let us just try to understand the needs in terms of time. Say, for example, let us take this example of food. So, the need of the food is temporary in time. For example, let us check for ourselves. When is that we would like to take food? The possible answers could be whenever you feel hungry. That is one possible answer. The another things are like the daily routine that we follow, like in the morning, breakfast, then lunch, then dinner, or maybe in between. I may also go out with my friends to have some snacks at, at a time of maybe 10:30 in the morning and maybe at 3:30 or 4 in the evening. In between this breakfast, lunch and dinner. So the need of the food is temporary, which means that I'm taking this food at a temporary time period. It's not continuous. Like we can also check now. Water is needed for us. And are we drinking water continuously? Are you drinking water now continuously? Or are we having it only whenever we feel thirsty? Which means I'm having water which is temporary in time. We can also go on with those types of needs which we categorize, like the mobile phones or the electronic gadgets, the money, everything. You can also check for that. Check for yourself. But now when we move on to the next category of needs, when we check for the next category of needs, as I mentioned, like the respect or the happiness, what do you think? When do you need respect? Is it you need respect only you are taking your breakfast, lunch, and dinner? Or you would like to get respect in between the breakfast, lunch, and dinner? I mean, in short, would you like to be respected for all the time? Continuously? Just think over this. When do you feel you want to be respected? Like, you can reflect on this. If you would like to reflect on what is that we are discussing right now, maybe you can raise the hands or you can also mention it out in the chat. So not only with time, we will also be able to differentiate the needs of these two realities on the basis of the quantity too. Okay, let me take this example of the food, the same food. There may be a very big vessel which is having so much of food in it. But how much is required for you? What do you think? When I want to take up this lunch for me, the quantity may differ from different people, but will you be able to see that whatever quantity you need to have is limited? You may not be able to get, or you may not be able to take the entire food which is present in the vessel. So even if it is a kind of feast where you have enormous food varieties in that, but the amount of food that you are going to take is limited. Are we able to see this? But what happens when we talk about this respect? See, when we go out, when we talk with friends, or when you are with your relatives, it's a feeling that you have. Like there is a possibility. You may feel respected, or you may not be feeling respected. That is, when I say that I am feeling respected, what does it mean? It means that I am having this feeling of respect at this moment. And when I say I have trust on you, what does that mean? It means I have trust on you at this moment, and there is no mistrust. So this is something qualitative. It is either present or there is a lack of this. Respect is either present or there is a lack of respect. Trust is either present or there is a lack of trust. Either I'm being happy at this moment or I lack the happiness at this moment. So we may not be able to quantify this. See, I can't tell, right? Like when someone asks me, or if I'm going to ask you, like, do you want to be respected? You will obviously tell yes. And if I'm going to ask you, how much quantity of respect you need now? Like, it will be a kind of a funny thing, right? When you are to measure all these needs of the self on the basis of certain units or parameters. I mean, you will be struck with this question when I ask you, how many kgs of respect you need now? Will you be able to answer it up? Generally, that will be a kind of funny things. So, what does it mean that the need of the self, when we take this example of respect or trust or happiness, that is something which is qualitative. It's either present or it is lacking. And this is something, a feeling that is associated with it. So, before that, we have a message in the chat. Like respect expects continuously. Yes, we expect the feeling of respect continuously. And that's how we define that the need of the self. When I see that there are two realities, the need of the self is something which is needed continuously with respect to time. Continuously, which means that for every moment, when there is this lack of the particular feeling, even for certain duration of time, then I may not be feeling happy. So with this, are we able to see that these needs, the need that I generally say, these all the list of my needs that I want to have. So all these needs are something of different types, which can be classified into two categories. And if we can see that both the types of needs there are two types of needs which are associated with the self and the body. And what do you feel? Are both the types of needs important to us? Do we want to fulfill both the types of needs? So we can ask this question for ourselves. Are both these types of needs important to me? And if the answer is yes, then do we want to fulfill both the types of these needs? And again, if the answer is yes, then are we working to fulfill both the types of needs? We need to check this for ourselves. When I can see that there are two types of needs and both the types of needs are important and I want to fulfill both the types of needs, then are we working for it? When I aspire for something, then we have already discussed that we need to take efforts to fulfill. And am I making efforts to fulfill both the type of needs? We can seriously analyze on this question to just check for ourselves how is that we are making the programs. And if I can see that I want to work to fulfill both the types of need, if I can see that I need to take efforts to fulfill both the types of needs, then what will be the priority? Should I hold higher priority for the needs of the self, or should I hold the higher priority for the needs of the body? What do you think? What should hold the higher priority? So just to give an idea of how to decide on this. Like when we are discussing about this, the previous sessions, we were trying to find out uh, what should be the priority. Like as a human being, we are able to see that this right understanding in the self, relationship, and physical facilities, or the most, the needed things for a human being. And also, out of these three things, we just try to find out what should hold the higher priority. And with that, we were able to see that the right understanding in the self holds the higher priority, followed by the relationship, which can lead to the mutual happiness. And then the least priority was the physical facility. So with this, we can just have this analysis of what should have the higher priority, either the needs of the self or the need of the body. So with that, are we able to see that the need of the self holds a higher priority than the needs of the body? So if that is the case, like we can ask up this question, are we ensuring the needs of the self even while we fulfill the needs of the body? So what I basically mean to ask is, like for example, the basic need of the body is food. So even when I have food with my friends, maybe say in the hostel, or even when I have the food with my family members at home, so be it an hostler or a day scholar, you will be taking up this dinner and or dinner. That's the most of the time where you meet your family members, sit together and have. So even when fulfilling the need of the body with food, are we ensuring that the happiness is being fulfilled? Like even when I take the food with my family members, am I ensuring that interaction is happening between my family members? a very good, nice interaction between the family members, like sharing what has happened with you in the college. And when you have siblings, they will be sharing up what has happened today, how they felt. Like, as we did this assignment, how much of time I got this state of excitement, this depression, or how I felt. Maybe there are chances like you may also go now and discuss about what is the content that is being discussed and so on. If such kind of things are also happening, which leads to have a good relationship among the family members or the friends, then we can be very sure that while fulfilling the needs of the body, I am also ensuring to fulfill the needs of the self. But this is a serious question that we have to ask for ourselves, like where our focus has been. If I'm going to ensure only the needs of the body, then I can say that I'm lacking the efforts to fulfill the need of the self. And this is quite obvious, right? Like when I talk about the need of the self, which is basically the happiness, then this can always be attained by the right understanding and right feeling in each one of us. But when I talk about the need of the body, all these needs of the body which we have discussed, like the food, the clothes, the shelter, all those things. So all those things are a kind of physiochemical things. Are we able to see this? So all the needs of the body will be fulfilled by physiochemical things. But when I go on with the need of the self, then need of the self can only be fulfilled by the right understanding and right feeling in each one of us. So when there are two types of needs and both the types of needs are different, one is completely in the domain of the physiochemical things, the other is in the domain of the right understanding and right feeling, then can you see that both types of need have to be understood separately? After understanding both the types of needs, then both the types of needs have to be fulfilled separately. Am I able to see this? But where does the trouble comes into picture? When I'm not able to understand both the types of needs, then what will happen? I will try to fulfill the need of the self by the need of the body. I will try to fulfill happiness by the physiochemical things. And this is where the trouble comes into picture. When we are not sure or when we don't have the clarity of what is the need, when I talk about my needs, the need of a human being, and when I see the needs of the self and needs of the body as a single thing, and I try to fulfill one type of need with the other type, then I am in trouble. So we can just check it out, like check if this happens. Okay. So this is the case, like where I'm not very clear with the two types of needs. I have not understood uh, about the two types of needs. So without understanding, I may not be able to fulfill these two types of needs. So what is my very gross misunderstanding? That human being is the body. So I'm the body. So when I consider myself as the body, then my needs, when I say my needs, then what I will assume, I need happiness and respect, but I assume myself to the body. So my needs will be just the physical facility. So what happens? I need respect, but I try to equate that to the physical facility, like food, clothes, and so on. And when I try to equate this respect to the clothes, so every time when I go on with a function, then I try to get the respect out of the clothes that I'm wearing. So which means that every time I go on with a new set of clothes. Because I feel the more expensive, the more attractive clothes that I'm going to wear, the more trendy clothes that I'm going to wear, then that's how I get respect from the others. See, you know what? I need respect continuously. So I'll be going on with this unlimited accumulation of the physical facility. See, for example, the mobile phone. So at this particular moment, I feel that having this particular kind of mobile phone will get me respect with my friends. Then I get it. Then after some 2 or 3 months, then I may see that there is something, the other version or an advanced kind of mobile phone which is being given out in the market. So then I will feel that if I want to be respected by my peer group, then I should be having that. Then what happens? The need for this mobile phones becomes unlimited. Then I go on to get that. If I am dependent on my parents to have the physical facility, then it will be like I go to them, I ask them, then they have to make so much of efforts to get it. So, which is basically the accumulation of the physical facility and which seems to be unlimited. See, is there a thought like this is another example? We can also check. Uh, like most of us would like to have ice creams or some kind of sweets like gulab jamun or rasagulla and so on. So if I see that my happiness is on the food, then what we'll be doing? Even though I get the latest version of mobile phone, which is just now given out in the market a few weeks before, but the very next moment I'm going to see an advanced model which is being given out by some other brand, then I go on to this deprivation. I feel that I lack the new version which has been released. So what happens? I try to accumulate. Again, I have this feeling of deprivation because I feel that I don't have enough. The recent one which is being given out is not that. Then I will make efforts. So whatever I have in my imagination, I will be making effort for the same. So I will make effort for the physical facility again. Then I try to accumulate. Then again, after accumulating, I will have this feeling of deprivation because some other things would have been there, or my friend would be having some other model. Then I feel that when I have that particular thing, then I'll be feeling happy, respected. Then I may ask my parents to get it. And if it takes some more time, if my parents say, like, let us wait for 1 year or 6 months, then I feel like deprived, I don't have enough. Then again, you have to make efforts for the physical facility by any means, then accumulation, deprivation. So this will be going on. And we need to check for ourselves whether we are caught in this loop. There is a possibility that we may also see some elders or people who are already caught in this loop. But it is the right time where we will be able to evaluate for myself, like, am I caught in this loop of accumulation deprivation, and again effort for the physical facility. And why is this happening? This is because of the gross misunderstanding that I assume myself to the body. So now with this, when we had this proposal of human being as a coexistence of self and body, let us now try to understand the self. Okay. Now, just observe yourself. You are in the session and you are listening to the content. You are listening to my voice, the words, and the content. And please do have this observation. Is there some sort of imagination which is going on in you? The imagination like it has been 8:12 now and there is hardly say 18 minutes for the session to get over. And then what else has to be done? I need to take the dinner. I have these works to be done. And tomorrow, uh, what at what time I should go to college? What is the dress that I'm going to wear? And what is that I would like to do after uh, tomorrow's class? Something like that. Something. It's just a kind of some examples. Is it going on in you? So all these are the imaginations that is going on in you. All these are the things which is going on in your imagination. And this is what the self is. The self has all the imagination that is happening. Now, this may be one of an interesting imagination that may be going on in some of us. Like I feel like taking revenge. There is whole lot possibility, right? Like one of my friends said this in front of everyone, or one of my classmates. So I have to take this, and these are some of the examples. Like I want to become a billionaire. I'm so special. And all those things happens in the imagination, which is happening in yourself. And with this imagination, we try to work outside. With this imagination, I try to exhibit my behavior. So you would have noticed this many a time. Like you would have been imagining something. Like even when you are with your friends, you might be imagining something. For example, say some kind of sweets to be taken. And then when you go to a canteen, then you will be exhibiting it, right? Like I would like to have this. I may be thinking about gulab jamun for many time. And when I get a chance to go to canteen, then I may look out for gulab jamun. I may express it out to the other and try to get that. So it happens like whatever is going on in the imagination, our behavior with the other human being is something which is going on in the imagination. Similarly with the work is something that we do with rest of the nature. So for example, you may be sitting in the class and the staff might not have turned out on the part, I mean, for like he or she may come 5 or 10 minutes late, and there is a possibility that uh, you may just like do whatever you want. You may just draw a picture in your note, or uh, you may just talk with your friend. You may work out something, or you can also see that board has been written and you need to clean the board before the next stuff comes, or you may also go there, clean the board and keep it clean for the next stuff. That may also happen because you have this imagination that the board is not clean, the next staff who is going to come should clean it up, so maybe I can help that. So that is a kind of work you can do, you may do, and this might have happened with many of us. So self and body are the two realities which is coexisting with each other, and the imagination happening in the self is exhibited outside, out of me, through the body as behavior and work. See, I hope that we would be aware of this term, natural acceptance. We would have discussed about this natural acceptance, which is nothing but a facultiness. Like when we are discussing about the session 4, we had certain questions like trust or mistrust, happiness or unhappiness, all those things. And we also saw that we are able to give up the answers immediately, war or peace, and so much of questions. And when we check this for ourselves, we were having this facultiness which gave out these kind of answers. And when you look into your own self, there is always something which is going on in you. It's a kind of some self talk, or it's a kind of dialogue that takes place. Have you noticed this? There is always a kind of self talk which is going on in me when, like, the same thing. Like if I go to canteen, what would I prefer to have, tea or coffee? We may not be expressing it out, but still there will be a dialogue which is going on. Or we may take this example. I feel like taking revenge. So when I want to take revenge, how is that I should take? He said this in front of everyone. So how is that I'm going to take revenge on him? Should it be in this way or should it be in that way? Or if the staff is going to come and ask questions like, how should I respond? I didn't complete assignment. If he or she asks me, what is the response that I have to give? So always there is a self-talk. We can just check for ourselves, like even now, you can just observe within you. Like there is always a question which is going on in us, and basically that's a kind of dialogue. So this is what is happening between our own imagination and this innate faculty, that is the natural acceptance. This natural acceptance is something uh, which gives you what to do. Are we able to observe this? That there is always a dialogue which is going on in me, there is some kind of imagination which is going on in me, and based on the content of my imagination, I have my behavior and work. So this dialogue which is happening, this is happening within me, in the self, where I see the responses from my natural acceptance. And what happens when I check for myself? When you have this question of happiness or unhappiness, then we can always see that we want to go on with this happiness. War or peace, then I can see that I want to go on with this peace. So my natural acceptance is always for this happiness, always for this peace, always for this trust, always for the respect. When I ask relationship or opposition, then check for yourself. What is the response you have now? Not even now. Whenever I ask you this question of relationship or opposition, you may be able to see that you want to go on with the feeling of relationship. But even though I want to go on with the feeling of relationship, even though I have the natural acceptance for the feeling of relationship, but what is happening? Sometimes I have this happiness. That is, sometimes I have this feeling of relationship with my friend, which makes me to feel happy. And sometimes I have this feeling of opposition, which creates contradictions in me. That is basically unhappiness. Are we able to see this? Even though the natural acceptance is for the feeling of relationship, which is nothing but my basic aspiration, my desired state, my intentions. But then I'm not able to have this feeling of a relationship all the time because I do have this whole lot of imagination which is going on. And this is where all my aspirations and concerns are at the level of my imagination, which is nothing but my current state and my current competence. Are we able to see this? So in the self, when I say that all these things, all these contradictions, all this feeling of relationship, everything, every imagination is happening at the level of the self. So that's the reason that we need to be aware of our own self for every moment. So you can also do this. Just try to observe the dialogue which is taking place in you and see whether that is being naturally acceptable for you. Or you can also check, all my imagination, is it guided by my natural acceptance? Because that is what we want. That is the desired state. But we can also note that it's not happening always. So this is the main thing that we need to focus on. Like checking on how is my imagination? Is it being guided by the natural acceptance always? So this natural acceptance is definite, it's uncorrupted, pure and innate in every cell. But the issue is we may or may not be aware of it. So we have the potential to be aware of it and take the guidance. So what is that which is needed from me? I should be aware of my natural acceptance. That is the intention. That is what I really want to be, which is my desired state. And now I have to make sure that my feelings, my imagination is guided by the natural acceptance so that we are harmony within. We are happy. And this is what is the harmony in the self. So with this, we will sum up today's session where we started with this proposal of human being is the coexistence of self and body. And every self has this faculty of natural acceptance. When we talked about these two realities, the body and the self, the body needs physical facility. And the need of this physical facility is temporary. It is required from time to time. And it can be fulfilled, or it is fulfilled by the physiochemical things. Whereas when I talk about the self, then happiness is the need of the self, which is my basic human aspiration. And it is required continuously for every moment. This happiness can be fulfilled only by the right understanding and right feeling in the self. It cannot be fulfilled by physical facility. And an interesting thing is, it cannot be fulfilled by getting feelings from the others. I mean, when we want to ensure the continuity, then you can check for yourself Will I be able to get the favorable feelings from the other continuously? And if we have this gross misunderstanding of human being to be the body, then there is the huge lot possibility that I'll be caught up in the loop of trying to get this continuous happiness from outside. That is accumulation of physical facility, deprivation, again effort for the physical facility, then again accumulation, deprivation, and so on. So there is this imagination going on in the self, and when the imagination is being guided by the natural acceptance, then self will be in harmony, that is happiness. So the more about these harmony in the self will be discussed in UHV 2. So when we go on with the home assignment for today, maybe before that, if you have any questions or any reflections or clarification, we may be able to take it up now. Any queries related to the content that has been discussed? So if not, then we will move on with the home assignment for today's session. So you just need to check whether you are able to see the two types of needs, the continuous need like the need for respect, which is the need of the self, and the temporary one. So now, in the last week, you would have done with your list of aspirations. So try to classify the list of aspirations into two categories. See, the one which is related to the reality of body and the other which is related to the reality of self. Now you can check which type of aspirations are prominent. Is it something which is related to the body or something which is related to the self? You can also reflect on how to fulfill it and what is your takeaway from your self-exploration. Then the next is you just check whether you are able to see this natural acceptance. And is it always for harmony, for relationship? You can also check the time at which your natural acceptance says to go on with the opposition. And also observe within you whether there is an imagination which is going on in you. And also check when you have this naturally acceptable feeling in you, then are you in a state of happiness and harmony? So now, is this program for the fulfillment of your aspiration and resolution of your concern at the individual level is clearer through this exploration? You can also share this with your batchmates. Yeah, so this is all for the assignment for this week. And we'll take up the question. We hardly have 1 minute for reflection. Else, then I may hand it over to Bhaiya. Bhaiya, over to you. I think, or like, if there are no more questions or reflections, then thank you everyone for Bhaiya.
Thank you, Sudhashni,
Yes,
for the enriching session, and certainly we like to have more such exploration. So we'll meet again next Wednesday, same time. Thank you all the co-students. Thank you, Sudhashni. Namaste, everyone.
Thank you, Bhaiya.